Wilds beyond, they speak your name with reverence and regret, for none could tame our savage souls, yet you the challenge met. Under palest watch, you thought we changed, the base instincts were redeemed, a world you gave to bugs and beasts as they had never dreamed. From Elegy for Our Hollowness by Manamon the Teacher. Life and death, light and darkness, the known as well as the unknown. I think a good story contains these elements, whether it's a story of a forgotten tale, an epic of gigantic proportion. In the obscurities of darkness, there will be hope. Well, technically, you are the void in this game, thus darkness. But anyways, we will get to that in the future. In today's day of age, there are myths to be told. However, I would like to rewind the scale and be able to see what this game could do with so little, but tell a tale of epic proportions. There were pockets and moments where I was fighting a metaphorical battle. Thus, sometimes in real life, you would feel sad and hopelessness. There are times like this where you feel like it in the game, either walking the resting grounds or maybe going through the City of Tears. The emotions of a background consumes you, the player, and thus transcends a certain theme, a certain feeling as you make your way through the uncovering lost civilization. Hollow Knight, maybe one of the most successful games to come out of any developer for crafting a game that was able to contempt many gamers across, despite maybe not being the most platform friendly regarding the difficulty of the game. I mean, I can't recall the infinite amount of times I died throughout the whole story. I'm looking at you, Path of Pain. Never gonna forget you, alright? Stupid piece of shit. I've seen the Hollow Knight community, and let me tell you, the endeavorance, perseverance, and the sheer amount of not giving up is the emblematic trait in every player that has experienced this game. It's just one of those games that gets you hooked from the start. The number of times you die, from even just the beginning, is phenomenal. The amount of times that I died, the spiciness of death ranged from top tier boss level climaxes to the simple and dull stupidity of a crawlid. Although the game can be difficult to the point of no return, I seem to understand this Hollow Knight game. I have to take a couple steps back to truly appreciate the many feats that this platformer has accomplished in all its glory. From the start, you are a creature called a knight. Without the player knowing why they are here in the first place, they must rediscover what happened to the crumbling fallen kingdom of Hollowness and your purpose on why you are here in this deteriorating society. What caught my attention about this game from the get-go was on how the developers were able to make such a world filled with life, and also the background discoveries and narratives, the small little intricate designs that you could see in the areas, from the colorful and lushful world of Green Pass, the mysterious strange small town of Dirtmouth, the sad and serene world of the City of Tears. Each part of the world of Hollow Knight might as well be a world within themselves. Each part brings a different theme into the game. You can see on how the bugs would live their lives without seeing what the world used to be in its most flourishing of times. From the miner bugs in the production centers, exporting crystals and mines for the rest of society, to the unknowns of the abyss that is the deeper parts of the hollowness. Each part of the world brings in a different element into the game, whether it's dangerous, melancholy, or life-inducing. I think it's reassuring to know that you will relate, or better yet, you will enjoy one of the worlds just based on how the themes changes throughout the game. As you progress, it keeps on changing. It is never stagnating, from the colors that the world offers to the music and ambience of the creatures that inhabit the area specifically. Each level offers layers upon layers of detail. Such an example is just on how many of the levels have lore surrounding them, how the color scheme changes on your travels, the intrinsic characters you find throughout the game. One such example is Quarrel, a swordsman-like wanderer you find at the beginning of the game, has his own backstory and his own intrinsic motivations. Cloth, exceedingly wanting to be just like the knight and live the life of a true warrior. She dies. Yeah, she dies. Hornet, acknowledgement of the knight and his key role in saving Hollowness. All these creatures have their own personality, intrinsic motivations, all pieces that contribute to make the story more alive. Now, like I've said previously, this is not an enlightenment or some new epiphany within the game itself. Clearly, you can see way more informative people that can cover the subject with more ease and clearly more in depth. Sure, I may only have 104% done of the game itself, never mind me when it comes to being the expert of the game. My general experiences was pretty much an endeavoring adventure as I venture off into the unknown world of the bugs. It kind of reminds me of when Dante goes into hell with Virgil to save Beatrice. Anyways, alongside my adventure and as I pay closer and closer towards the storyline and then the plot, you slowly fully realize what is happening, or better yet, what has happened. As I traveled this lonely path, you came across all sorts of characters, some good, other malicious. As you continue your adventure, you find out that you're in fact a vessel, essentially neither a bug nor a beast, but something to contain the ravaging infection that was occurring during the scurrying of this unknown infection. You're one of many vessels created by the Pale King and the White Lady, essentially your mom and dad. Anyways, only one was to be deemed as the pure vessel, the one who was going to put an end on towards the infection. As I continue my adventure into Hollowness, what was once a flourishing kingdom with treaties and alliances along with the lands, now nothing but turmoil and a ghost town of bugs was the infection. One comes to question themselves, what happened? A topic for further discussion. When you pick up the game, what stands out most is the music. Composed by Christopher Larkins, an Australian who out of nowhere has forever impacted the nature of gaming. A matter of fact, the three-man crew that is Team Cherry, who managed to crowdfund this immense and daunting project. It was a risky move, but the love and passion of the game can really be spoken across the gameplay. As you step into the world, the music changes and transcends depends on where you are and who you are facing. From the piece of City of Tears, the energy and green path, to the climax of the boss levels. Another main reason why I picked up this game, apart from my brother insisting to pick up the game after playing The Legend of Zelda, was from the start its dark undertones. Just like a book that you're ready to read, and just like a movie, by the cover you can see, the developers have put in a lot of thought, from the musical selection you can hear in the title screen, through the ambiances of melancholy, aloof, sadness, isolation, light, darkness, light, life and death. The game carries you through multiple amounts of emotion through and through. Anyways, just like a portrait of Van Gogh, I can feel the sadness within the game in the beginning. Just like the knight I was playing, who appears to have no recollection of his own past, I go through the adventure collecting bits and pieces of what happened to what was this great civilization. Hollow Knight is a non-linear structure kind of game, so it's not a type of game to go from A to B and C and so forth. It's much more like a Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild kind of sense. In that respects, where you choose to go in your own terms, but depending on how much you do in the game, it all goes back towards the end of the game, to defeat the infection and to fulfill your purpose to bring back peace to Hollowness, or just take in the infection all in and repeat the cycle once again. I mean, it's up to you. My adventure was just one of many. I went unknowing, but the longer I played, the longer did I stay. Sure, I had my moments of raging or feeling hopelessness, or of not defeating the boss, or just simply lost or overwhelmed with the many tasks that I had to do. Sometimes I just relax at a bench, hang around with one of the characters, and just like a nice soundtrack on YouTube, play the soundtrack in the background as I was going throughout my day. The game is constructed in such a way that, although it's not as action-packed or densely driven in game mechanics, it holds a very unique artistic expression. These hand-drawn animations, the simple yet very addicting, fluent game style. It's almost like picking up a musical instrument. You have to know just on how some enemies move and attack, just like the bosses as well, each one with their own personality and behaviors. This game constantly switches up upon on how you can counter any enemy you face. From using soul-like range projectiles towards close-quarter combat, the game becomes as versatile as you allow yourself to be, by equipping different charms, essentially power-ups, that change on how your knight fights. The right equipment can make some fights a living breeze, meanwhile others a damn nightmare. I did overall enjoy my experience, especially during these times of being quarantined. There have been countless times I would have much rather wanted to stay indoors than to be outside and so on. The story reminds me of a fable, a lore. A story of a society that used to be great and flourishing cities to what it is now, deteriorating, the degrading civilization of bits and pieces. Hollow Knight is a story. It has enough to keep you at awe and wondering what more can be inside this world of the bugs, and gives you enough lore to wanting to explore more by talking to everybody, interacting with the environment, and to continue exploring the sea, and more of what could be uncovered. Though it was more of the more interesting about this game, the more I uncovered, the more I discovered, the richer the game becomes, and the world becomes more immersive. What this game is, it's a challenge, sure enough. Not everyone will enjoy this game. It is time consuming, and this game is difficult, and not for the faint of hearts. This game, one must keep on learning from trial and error, and must be determined through and through to uncover the small secrets within that Team Cherry has left behind. Whether you are doing a side quest, uncovering grubs, getting all the soul pieces, charms or masks, this game will keep you going for countless hours, and a living memory for the completionist. Let's not begin to talk about the pantheon of gods. Dialogue within the game was full of wit and humor. Some characters, such as Zoe, just essentially become comedic relief, meanwhile other characters talk about death, grief, and loss. You explore a variety of themes about life as you continue to talk to different bugs in the world. After you are done, you then rediscover. You put the pieces together and you start realizing the bigger picture that Team Cherry unfolded. From the limericks of Mr. Mushroom to the ritualistic behavior of Grimm, you will continue to search for these characters and listen on what they have to say, and be engaged as you finish their arcs or side quests. I think Hollow Knight, in some sense, is an expression of death within the world of Hollow Knight. As the Knight, you have a weapon called the Dream Nail. Either you put souls to rest or leave them be. You travel across different worlds, the physical, the dream world, signifying the difference across what is seen and unseen. You see examples of what the world does, of what perceptions can be. One such example is upon Zoe, where Bretta sees him as a dazzling knight, only to uncover what he truly is. Just a sad piece of shit. Anyways, you get various moments within the game where the physical world and the dream world collide. One example is within the pantheons of the gods. Another controversial yet debated place is the White Palace. This sense of ambiguity further expands the potential for lore and for all these theories to be placed upon the game. Self-expression, I truly do believe this is one of the few games I sincerely enjoyed for a long time. Whether it was me exploring, me getting lost upon the world, the different enemies, the different bugs. Whether it was the theme, whether it was the location, there are memorable moments within the game where you truly feel like you're lost within this world. And within itself, I think the community plays a vital role into that. Whether it's them talking about countless lore of who might be what is contributing towards the world. I think that each person does contribute a vital factor into why this game is not only popular among, I would say, a cult, but just in the sense that a lot of people do genuinely enjoy talking about this game, and it's a sense of community coming in together and having a common theme or a common what's the word I'm looking for common sense of a topic to talk about. I'm gonna have to edit that later, but anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.